Pragmata. This game is very VRAM heavy as well. It's also very just generally GPU heavy. So we'll come in here, we'll go, you can see balanced is fine with 8 gigabytes. So we're going to turn it up. We're going up to quality. That really does want to have more VRAM. Let's see, we're already over it. Turn this up. Doesn't affect VRAM that much, as you can see here. Right? Resolution does not affect VRAM as much on these modern games because it loads the textures into the game. Then the amount of pixels used to render that is just how demanding it is on the GPU to do that. But the textures are in the game regardless. So these modern ways of doing it, this doesn't make a big difference. Neither does even scaling as a result. So anyways, come down here. VSync doesn't matter. We will have RT on. We have the power to do it. Path tracing will be a bit much, but we can do that. We'll go native for now. Let's wait. Turn these textures up. That'll make a difference too. So higher texture quality. Maybe we'll leave those shadows down because that was a huge difference. So we'll go with that. That's a pretty cranked up setting there. No scaling to start. Okay, so here we are. It's actually doing slightly better than I thought. I was expecting easy 60. Yeah, I'd call it 60 because it's going to jump up and down. So about 60, which is pretty much exactly what I expected actually. VRAM is hugely up, 10 gigabytes. And this is true gameplay, right? We're getting 60 FPS, 1600p native resolution, no scaling, no frame gen with that very high setting. This is literally what I'd consider like kind of the perfect spot where it's exactly 60 FPS at this very, very, very high setting with no shenanigans. Not like it's 45, not like it's 50, it's exactly perfect. It's almost the test became too good. So, you know, when we tested against the 5070 8 gigabytes, I mean, it'll be the same raw performance and then the VRAM will be higher, so the performance will be worse, basically. So we'll stand here for a sec. We are going to go with some wattage scaling. So we're at, where did it go? 90, 54 to 60. Now this system can put more watts to the GPU than that. It is capable of doing 100 to 115, but it depends how heavy the GPU is. Sorry, how heavy the CPU is on the game. You can see here, right, pretty significant noise reduction with very minimal performance drop. Even though we dropped like 30 off the GPU, still like 4 or 5, so like 10% performance, but it's way quieter. We'll go all the way down to silent, and there should be a pretty noticeable drop. However, there's no scaling, right? A lot of the time, I just use scaling, right? You put it on silent like this because I don't want to hear it. Now, it's not as annoying as the mic might make it seem. It is kind of annoying, but the mic will dramatically exaggerate fan noise. It's just the way that a mic works. But you can see here now we're on silent, just balance scaling with those exact same settings. The laptop is very quiet, other than the fact that my air conditioning just turned on. It's almost imperceptibly in terms of noise. And we're using 70 watts, right? It's very cool, very quiet. And we're over 60. So it's quite good. Another thing you can do is you can do a custom mode. GPU to CPU, nothing. I don't want the CPU to have any power. Okay, go like that. Now I'll come back into the game. So now you can see the GPU is able to pull that 100 watts, right? Easily. So we only have, it's a thin laptop, there's only so many watts we can work with. Yeah, the GPU is rated for 100 watts plus 15. That's what Lenovo rates it for with power sharing. But typically, you know, 100 watts is where you're going to be at with this thing. But it really does depend on how heavy the CPU is. If you're in a game that's very GPU heavy, the CPU is not doing as much, the CPU will be at lower watts, so the GPU can pull more, right? Or if you have like a non-HX CPU or something like that. But, you know, if you're in a high demand game, especially CPU heavy, the GPU just, they'll be fighting for watts from one another. This is a thin laptop, limited cooling. They can't just give both of them 200 watts. It'll melt the laptop. But you can see here, we can do that. Now let's turn that scaling back off. Now it is still loud because we're using a lot of watts here all of a sudden. But what I am doing here is I'm giving the GPU more power than the CPU. And this is the highest performance we've got yet, right? So rather than being in performance mode, which gives the CPU, in my opinion, slightly too much power and gives the GPU a little bit too little power, you know, here we're at 65. This custom mode gives us better performance. So it's about 67 right here. Now watch this. See that? It's actually lower performance. Not much, but slightly. I mean, it's still 4%, maybe 5%, depending on the scenario. So a couple frames, 3 frames, 4 per frame, something like that. Because the CPU is pulling up more, the GPU is pulling less. It just randomly went over there. Okay, we're going to do some Indiana Jones. There we go. So this is high settings, no scaling. See that? Look down, 70, looking up. And we're looking at, yeah, interestingly, right about 60 on the dot. So high preset, 60 on the dot. And look at the VRAM usage, right? Well, let's fight this guy, I guess. Come on, bro. So we'll go high, native. We'll try that. I've been having major issues here with Indiana Jones. I'm trying to test it on the 8 gigabyte, but I can't get it to load like at all. Any of the settings that I wanted to test, even this is just high. This is not super high or anything like that. It just won't load in because of the see, it crashes out. It's just the textures, right? Memory, VRAM memory, 8 gigabytes. So I won't test Indiana Jones on the 8 gigabyte because it doesn't work. So I won't test VRAM on the 8 gigabyte because it won't work. But I'll just show you. It literally won't even load the game. It'll just crash. And this is just high. So we'll just kick over to 12 gigabyte only in this situation here because it is it's not be even, oh, it's unplayable. It's 15 FPS. No, it's literally the game won't launch. So yeah, the game just fails. So Indiana Jones, unless you're on like low or medium, is literally unplayable on an 8 gigabyte GPU. We've known this for a long time. And now we'll kick into 12 gigabyte and you'll see just how good it actually runs. Okay, so yeah, an easy 60 on this high settings. VRAM is just way up, right? Even the game itself is using 8.6, system using 10. Very, very, very high. So this is one of those games where, yeah, you can crank up the settings quite a bit. It does devour VRAM, but the 5070 has the performance, right? It absolutely has the performance. So you can take advantage of it, right? A lot of times in the past, if you're looking at much older GPUs, potentially there might be a case where it was, you don't, sure, maybe you can get away with, the game maybe the GPU itself wasn't powerful enough to drive over 8 gigabytes. Anyways, you turn up the settings to where it would consume 8 gigabytes, and the GPU just shits the bed anyways. It's just not powerful enough. But we don't have that anymore. The 5070 is definitely powerful enough to use all this VRAM. Absolutely. Now there is a couple things to expect here. We may end up with a situation where the VRAM is not enough, and when that happens, we will end up with several offers. One, the overall performance will be bad. Two, the lows will be quite bad, which is the most common. Or three, the perceptive performance will be okay, so we look like it's performing okay, but it will desaturate. It'll detexturize a lot of stuff to take the VRAM saturation issue away. So the game will look worse. It'll perform okay, but it'll look worse. Here right now we're just getting bad performance. So the lows are quite terrible. So we can see here, the average is, as it makes sense, basically the same thing, but the lows are massively worse. Now, the other thing is, you can see the VRAM is way lower here. So there probably is some texture drop here. It's hard for me to see on camera, but it does look noticeably a little bit softer in some areas. As we play a little bit longer, the VRAM should theoretically also get a little bit saturated, and then it may actually start to perform even worse after a moment or two. Let's try a little bit of scaling. See what that can do for us. Now in this game, scaling and resolution in general doesn't really make a big difference. The game here, once you load in the textures into the game, regardless of the resolution or the scaling, the textures are in the game. So the performance, the VRAM amount is unchanged. You can see here the upscaling is now kicked in. Let's see what we get for performance. It's actually not making a huge difference because, like I said, the VRAM, the textures are loaded into the game regardless of resolution, regardless of upscaling, and so that's the texture that you get. Right? If you scale the game, it will just make it easier to run in terms of raw GPU calculations because there's less pixels. However, you're not impacting the VRAM amount at all, or negligible amount. Okay, so now we'll actually turn it up. It's running totally fine on the 12 gigabyte model. So we'll turn that up, turn off scaling again, and we'll try again. Okay, we'll see what we can do here. Now this is even higher setting, so I expect it to be even worse between the two of them, potentially. The VRAM here on the 5070 8 gigabyte is, it's completely maxed out. It's technically going over. The 12 gigabyte still has more to give. Yeah, it's starting to get really bad here. Noticeably very choppy. Sub 30 FPS, 6 for the 0.1% lows, 12 for the 1% lows. Yeah, it's very bad now. You can see the frame buffer usage. Yeah, Yes. Yeah, the memory is it's just getting destroyed. Oh. 6 FPS, come on. Oh, it's so unplayable. Are there any enemies? It's so bad, right? So this is VRAM. This is like completely saturated VRAM, unplayable. But on the 8 gigabyte, the 12 gigabyte model, it's completely playable. Not just playable, it's good. It's good. Right? So it's just showing you what a difference that extra VRAM makes, and how the 12 gigabyte model is where it should have been in the first place. The 8 gigabyte, it never should have been an 8 gigabyte GPU, put it that way. All right, let's see what we can do here. The menus, by the way, are awful. This is like it's so unresponsive. This is how bad it is. And you tell me that VRAM is not an issue? This is a well-optimized game engine. It runs very well when you have enough VRAM on even very low-end hardware. Come on. And you may say, well, like before this 12 gigabyte model came out, people would be like, well, you shouldn't have those settings anyways, and I've already proven the GPU had enough in the first place for it to work. You were getting gaslit before by fanboys online who were defending low VRAM situations. Come on. Here we go. So we'll just come in with the DLSS and see if it makes a difference. I mean, it won't. So, I mean, it might even be worse, technically, because DLSS actually does use a little bit of VRAM. Can I hit him? Oh, I don't have any... No! Oh, I shot him in the leg. Take those legs out, bruh. I mean, this is unplayable at this point. Actually, looking at the screen makes me severely motion sick. Imagine running at the person with a gun. Even if you're being chased, you wouldn't run with your face at the person with the gun. I mean, I'm not good at this game in general, but I'm really not good like this. So, yeah, it's completely unplayable. We'll put it that way. Let's lower it down, and see what it's like when we're not nuking the VRAM. Come on, game. Oh my gosh, it's so much better. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll come in here, we'll just lower it down quite a bit, turn off ray tracing, just see what it's like. I mean, we've already proven that it works with ray tracing, and there's absolutely no problems running this game with ray tracing on the 5070 12 gigabyte at all. It runs quite well, actually. So we'll come in here, we'll just lower this down. So high, no ray tracing now. And now, in theory, we shouldn't be hitting a VRAM issue on even 8 gigabytes, so the performance should be almost the same. Maybe like margin of error, but they should be identical. All right, so let's try a scenario where we actually lower it like way down, so it's definitely under the VRAM limits. So we'll come in here and we'll go like that, normal, ray tracing off, no scaling, and just see how it performs now. So here, in theory, they should be basically the same. Might be a tiny bit of a difference, but they should be basically the same. I mean, the other one is actually using more than 8 gigabytes. This one, it's just lowering the textures down or something, just slightly detexturizing it to make the performance the same. So they may look slightly different. It might be hard to see on camera, and might be hard for me to see unless I literally had the computers and I like zoomed in with my eyeballs to see what's going on, if there's any difference in terms of the visuals. We'll come in here with high settings now. Nothing too crazy. No scaling. Okay, so see what we can get here. Now the performance should be basically the same. Essentially, should be the same. Might be some differences here and there, whatever, but generally speaking, they should be the same. Yeah, close enough. I mean, margin of error and that kind of stuff, but basically the same thing. Well, there's a huge drop there, but that was probably just popping. I mean, it is still a little lower, but yeah, it could just be the performance of that memory, who knows. So we're going to turn it up now. Now, Ultra, generally speaking, should hit VRAM, should be okay with this amount of VRAM. If we go up to Extreme, technically that's where you start to run into VRAM issues on 8 gigabytes. I've already tested it. 12 gigabytes should be okay. Generally speaking, Ultra from my testing is just potentially just enough to get in that 8 gigabytes, depending. Whereas Extreme just exceeds it straight up. It's just, okay, so it's just going to throw an error, right? Extreme is just going to throw an error. We'll try. It might just crash, but we'll try. Yeah, it kind of let us. Sometimes the game will just like, it will not let you do it. Here it is letting us do it. So the averages are lower. Everything's lower. This game I don't think will desaturate, will detexturize to desaturate the VRAM. I don't think it does that. So you just get bad performance. Remember, every game's different. Some games will look like Hogwarts Legacy is a game where it'll just look horrible to get the VRAM limits down. It basically turns into a PlayStation 1 title. So the performance will stay reasonably good, but it just plays around with the textures. I don't know which I prefer. I mean, I guess if you really are VRAM limited, that's one benefit. It's threatening us at 8 gigabytes, we'll see. Yeah, it's running horribly. And on the 5070 12 gigabyte, it's running just fine. Like three for the 1% lows is very bad. Oh my god. It's so unresponsive. Okay, we'll do a little walkthrough here now. You can see that it's actually pushing itself to go under 8 gigabytes, whereas the 12 gigabyte is not having that issue. The average is about the same, but the lows are considerably lower here, right? And it's just doing texture compression, pulling from the system memory and that to help it keep it alive type thing. So considerably lower performance here, obviously. Average is about the same. So we'll try a little bit of scaling. Lows. So it's doing okay here with DLSS, to be honest. It's bringing the VRAM requirements down. In this game it does make a difference, clearly. The lows are still worse, but it's not like bad anymore. Try ray tracing ultra native. It's not going to run well. Just by raw performance, it's not going to run well. Or is the performance just so low that it... Okay, so it's 0 FPS. I mean, it's not good on either, but it's legitimately... Can I get out of this, hopefully? Okay, you let me get out. I was worried it was going to crash out. So that's just too much. Let's turn it way up. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, right? Like our VRAM is just so massively exceeded here that we're looking at 10 times the performance or 8 times the performance on the 5070 8 gigabyte or on the 12 gigabyte. I can barely control the carrier. I mean, we're looking at single digit FPS, so. Whoa, I can't even control. It's so bad. So it's completely unplayable with these higher settings and very, very, very playable on the 12 gigabyte, right? Throw on some scaling and you throw on these ray tracing settings and you're getting 60-ish. Right here we're getting, like, it's not even discussion. It's completely unplayable on the 8 gigabyte model. We'll do a little bit of 007. I'm a fair bit into the game, several hours. I don't really know when it gets to the point where it's just like open world and I can just mess about. So we'll just mess around in the club, apparently. Ooh, that looks cool. It's a pretty demanding scene here. VRAM, not exactly a problem. We are getting hit pretty hard, just generally. I mean, it's playable. I played this on my Legion Go S at about 45 to 50 FPS at way lower settings, and it was fine. It's a third-person type game where, you know, turning the character, like he does that, right? So you don't have to be fast twitchy. You don't have to be at 150 FPS for a game like this. Anyways, so that's fine. Let's actually change the settings slightly. Not even sure where we're at here. Probably turned quite a bit up. So we were, I mean, obviously we're at the native. Yeah, native. Okay. We do not have any scaling on. Texture quality is high. I mean, we are turned up, but technically we could turn a little bit more. We're just generally high, right? So terrain quality, high, texture high, shadow high. So just on a high, basically, everything. No scaling, and it's definitely playable. I'd just throw a little bit of scaling, throw in some DLSS. At 1600p, you might as well go with balance. There's no point in doing quality. Not at this resolution. So there you go. That's your 60. So high presets, just basically throw in a bunch of high settings and then throw it onto balanced and you're good. This is not the most like realistic and crazy looking game. It's more about the story and the gameplay. Definitely is not, the visuals are not shocking, put it that way. So I would just put it on like this, like a high preset and just play. Now the game is very fun, at least as far as I played. And the voice acting is superb. The gameplay is great. The story is fun. It's just not, you know, even though it's a brand new game, the visuals are not that impressive. And that's fine. There's a lot going on right here, though. There's a lot of people dancing, a lot of lights. We're doing generally fine.
Has identified a need from the trade industry. We've narrowed our